What's up, YouTube producers? Thanks for tapping in with me today. We're going to show you how to do a rough mix on your track. If you could take this time to subscribe and like the video, it greatly helps the channel. So first thing we're going to do is put a nice EQ on all of our instruments. Today I'm just going to be showing you how to mix instruments. I can do drums on another video. So with the EQ, you want to make sure that you fill up the whole spectrum of different instruments. Right here we have your bass notes, your piano. You don't want that to compete with your 808. So you cut the lows out. I put the nice old telephone effect on my top melody all the time, most of the times. There I got a drum pattern I had already made on a previous beat that I just put up in here for this video. On all my strings, I always cut out the highs. To be honest, cutting out the highs is probably the most important part of the track, because that really competes in your ears with the rest of the sounds and it makes it very hard on your ears. And it gives it more of a cinematic feel to it when you cut those lows out. So there's always an order I put all of my effects on. I EQ first, compressor second, then that goes into either the chorus or the reverb that you use or delay. And then after that, you can always come back in and EQ again with a second EQ, depending on the sound you're going for. If you don't know where the attack and release should be on that instrument, I tell people to put it dead center in the middle and go each way from there, and you can usually get a good feel, train your ears for that. Just tweaking a few things here. All these default presets are great, but sometimes you do have to tweak some things in there. Off clipper is always going to help keep that channel at one pace as far as the sound wave. It's not going to go up and down a lot, which makes it a lot easier for you when you put it on your master track. Of course, different effects is going to go for different beats, different default settings, so on. So now we're going to do the 808. I always cut all of the highs out of the 808, unless I'm doing like an Atlanta type beat. But for these Chicago drill beats, that 808 pays to have all the highs cut out. Now I don't always compress my 808, but this specific 808, I feel that, the sound needs to be compressed, so I do so. Now your 808, I usually keep at between 6 and 3. My bass notes usually fall between, I would say, 31 and 28. Top line melody, I always do between 23 and 18. Then my hi-hats, drums, and snares fall in between that 6 and 3 range. Now, depending on the beat, I might take the kick and bring that up to almost clipping, to the point it's almost red and stops dead line there. But that depends on the beat, if you want that hard knock. For these Chicago drill beats, it's really not necessary, so we're not going to do that on this one. Now, what I'm doing is I'm cutting out and making the 808 start and stop when I want it to. That's what you just saw me do there, by putting that 1% delay on it. Now you can hear it got that King Von, Lil Durk sound to it now. Play with these a little bit. so it blends right. Now we're gonna put a soft clipper on our master channel. This is something I do on every single track that I produce. This again helps keep the whole channel blended together at one continuous waveform and not go up and down so much. Of course, you're gonna have that where you see here in the drum pattern with the hi-hats, the snare, and the kick, there's a lot of empty silence in there on those pockets and pauses. But for your whole cohesive track, you don't want that going all over the place. It's gonna be really hard on the ears and really hard for somebody to get on that track and rap. Now I'm gonna show you guys how to do an automation clip on volume. So you're gonna go up to that top corner and you are going to right click it. Then when you go all the way down to automate clip and then go down to volume, it doesn't show on here just because of the recording software I'm using. But again, you click all the way up in that left hand corner of the sound wave and you right click it, go down to automate, and then go down to volume. Then here you can play with the peaks and valleys of different parts of the wavelength. This is real important when you have something like this, where you see after I normalize the clip, it's all over the place. You have the beginning of the wavelength comes in real heavy and thick, and then towards the end, tails off real quiet. So now I can bring that beginning part down and the end part up, something you normally could not do with just a regular soft clipper. So now we just simply gonna, go on these hi-hats that I have layering and these bells that I have layering the 808. So we're gonna go through with the bell first and then we'll go through the open hi-hat. Same process here, EQ, compressor, so on. It's really that EQ then compressor. After that, you can add whatever you please. Those first two are real key. It was something that I didn't learn when I first started producing. The order of your effects is detrimental to how it's going to come out as a finished product. If you were to put the delay and then the EQ and then the compressor, so on and so forth, it would not nearly have the same sound as it would if it was put in that correct cohesive order. So then I'm just going to use the real quick EQ here to cut out some of those highs real fast. It's something you can use when you're on the go. And then you get a little bit more detailed when you get into the actual EQ. Major difference, right? Major difference on your ears with what I did right there. Took me 2 seconds. Put a little delay on those hi-hats, give it more of a feel. A little warmth to it. Now don't be afraid to play with some of these settings and just trust your ear. If it sounds good to you, it most likely sounds good to the untrained ear. You're a producer. Your ear is trained. Your average person ear is not trained. Even most rappers' ears are not trained to music. So if it sounds good to you, that little one thing you hear off that's really bothering you, 99% of the rest of the world won't even hear it. So guys, I'm gonna play the full beat. I really appreciate you guys tapping in with me. Again, like, comment, subscribe. Any ideas, anything you need help with or future videos, and enjoy.